Akapla.
Yeah, it's all about Klingon finding a flower and trying to conquer it and failing. There was no
Right. Yeah, that was the one that comes right after the Tribble War, right?
Yeah, yeah. Dribbles.
Can I just make one point clear?
You can.
Good luck.
Nerds.
We knew that, but we love them
Is-
anyway.
Is there anybody denying it?
No.
Thank you.
Come on. Where is my Brave New World?
You don't know?
I want it now.
Brave New World.
I
We are
don't
live streaming.
anymore.
Let me start Zoom recording. This is the backup. I cleared my cloud so it can fit it on there.
Oh, come on.
And that's not a euphemism.
Right.
But it could be.
Why did I
Okay,
launch?
sure. Yeah.
All right. Why did I launch Parallels? I should not have done that.
It's Team's fault.
Probably true, but
I haven't even updated the 15.5 yet. Jeez, what am I even waiting for?
Oh, thank you. Dan.
Sometimes it's like I don't even know you.
I know. How could I do that? I updated everything else. I forgot to do the Macs.
Has anybody heard any issues with any of the updates?
No, in fact, I did it at work. I did my work ones before my own. Because I even asked, can we update? He said, go for it.
Yeah, the Tall Trees update fixed the bug where messages would just quietly crash,
oh, nice.
which is great because it was so annoying
What is with my cap?
finding out that I have messages only after the alert on my iPhone popped up on my Mac screen, and then I have to go and launch messages again and again and again.
And again. And again.
Okay,
And again.
the weirdest thing is happening on my YouTube. Okay, I've got the live stream going, but for some reason when I go down and as my cursor passes over the the pause button, Marty turns into Ringo Starr.
And Webb Bixby has joined us in the chat. All right. You good, but you good guy?
Did you just call me the dumbest Beatle?
No, in fact, I took a screenshot. I'm going to try to throw it into the chat just so you can see.
I think Ringo Starr was one of the smarter ones.
Peace and love. Peace and love. Don't send me any more mail. With peace and love.
Does this mean I'm married to Barbara Bach?
Ooh.
Ooh. All right. You guys ready?
Yes,
be a
Marty,
shame.
it does.
Who's going to break it to my wife?
You're married to Barbara Bach. Do you care?
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
Huh.
Let me see.
The only reason I can tell you two apart is because
Wow.
the glasses.
How did that get in there?
I have no idea because I have not been
Well,
watching any
shit.
videos.
Now I can't tell you apart at all.
Oh my God. I think I'm going to put that as a screenshot or as a like a header page for this episode.
Well, that's weird. Yeah, every time I move over the top, I get Sony headphones over the top of Marty.
Oh, I'm so wonky. Let me see if I do it. Oh, he's got the glasses on. I'm not getting him. I'm getting him. I see him. Nothing's changed. All right. Are we ready?
Yes,
I
sir.
am. Let's do it. Make sure audio hijack's going. It is 3:59. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 359 of In Touch with iOS, this show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and we have a great full panel this week. I'm so excited. First off, Guy Cyril's back on the show. How you doing, Guy?
Hey, I'm just happy to be alive. That's all I can say.
Well, we are too, but I'm glad you're here, and you're sounding great, looking great, and
Thank
appreciate
you
you being here.
It's this beautiful Heil PR35 microphone.
I was waiting for that. Chuck Joyner, I'm so glad you're back. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing great. I don't have a Heil PR35, but hopefully I sound okay anyway.
Yes, you sound great. And
What the Heil?
we also have returning Eric Bolden. How you doing, Eric?
Right. Been dodging alliums all day.
Well, I'm not
Okay.
saying it's alliums, but
Yeah,
it's alliums.
LEMs. And
Did they come out of the UFO? Sorry.
maybe.
Couldn't help
I don't.
Marty Gensius, so glad you're here. How you doing, Marty? And you're muted.
Well, Marty's muted because if he's not, then you have to pay royalties for every word he says.
I muted myself because my dog was going nuts and I forgot to turn it back on. So there's no place I'd rather be with you than with you guys. And I can say that safely because my wife's asleep.
I want to know who the UBs are.
UBs?
UBs, yeah, it's in Marty's right side in bright letters.
The Cubs?
It's the UBS.
You get the CUBS.
I'm
but-
sorry, I'm just seeing it as UBs.
Cubs.
Well, it's a computer peripheral connector port for the dyslexic.
Oh, there we go. That voice is Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right, and I apologize to everyone for that joke that was in horribly bad taste.
It was too funny as always. So we got a lot to talk about. iOS 18.5 was released, Vision Pro stuff. We got a little bit of Mac. Mac is going to be out there, and got some exciting announcements about CarPlay. Or is it exciting? Lots of news, but let's go ahead and dig in for the what's going on for this week. Well, let's start with In Touch with Vision Pro. Apple did release Vision OS 2.5 with the Vision tab for Apple TV app. And Marty did talk about this last week because it was in beta. They officially released the fifth update to Vision OS 2. And it came out in September, and it's a little over a month from 2.4. You can download it right from the headset, navigate to the settings tab, and in the general section, it will download. You have to take the headset off for it to update once it's ready. But that is what there was. The biggest feature was the Apple TV app is now amazingly, finally, easily to discover and watch immersive videos. We've been waiting for this. Haven't we been, Marty? Because I'm excited.
Yeah.
Instead of having to search for them. I heard another report today that people were claiming that the environments, they sort of redid the environments in terms they're clearer or crisper than they were. So that people are saying, and they were doing before and after pictures, before 2.5 and after 2.5 as comparisons.
And Eric, you don't do beta, but did you update iOS?
Oh, yes.
2.5?
As soon as I could. Yeah. And it went really smoothly.
Yeah, it's been going. The beta testing's been great for me, and I think for Marty as well. So far, been pretty solid. So not overly exciting stuff, but enough that I'm looking forward to the immersive video. We got 15 days until U2's concert's coming. I can't wait for that one that we've been talking about a number of times here. So that is about it as far as what the Vision OS has announced. But one of the things I have, then this is kind of a future thing. I wanted to just kind of bring this up real quick. Is Vision OS 3 more than likely will be coming back, will be announced at WWDC, which is a little less than a month away on June 9th. Users may soon be able to scroll with their eyes. Now, I'm curious to see how that works. If you're able to scroll through content with your eyes, and according to Bloomberg, this is probably from Gurman, is working on a Vision OS 3 feature that would eliminate the need for hand gestures in browsing websites and reading and more. The Vision Pro already surprised, as we know, using gestures and hand gestures and taps. Could this OS bring something that advanced? What do you guys think, Eric and Marty?
It would be a good idea. I mean, scrolling is kind of the missing piece. I'm with you on I can't quite envision how it's going to work,
Yeah.
but I hope it works in maps because I want to bring up a map and then learn how to scroll with my eyes and then figure out where I'm going on vacation next.
That'll work.
All I'm thinking of is I'm going to get a headache, and I hear my mother's voice saying, "If you do that, your eyes will stick that way."
You get cross-eyed, right?
Hey,
Well,
I mean,
depending
you
on
could-
the immersive video, you'll probably need both hands for other things anyway.
Oh,
I've really
no.
missed you, Guy.
Oh, gosh.
Hey,
We did
Dave.
miss you. Yeah.
Years ago, I remember ranting about how I really wish that when I'm working on my Mac, instead of having to use keyboard shortcuts or move my hand over to my trackpad or whatever to switch to a different window, why can't it just track my eyes and automatically select the window I want to be in? And now here we are getting some of that in Vision Pro. So what I guess what I'm saying in a long-winded way is I can't wait for Chuck to buy his so he can try this out and tell me how close we are to that dream that I had.
Waiting for that.
This is on topic. Does anybody remember the movie Firefox with Clint Eastwood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about
Oh,
the
yeah.
interface. Think about the interface that when he was flying the and there's no spoilers here, folks. So,
An old
but
movie.
think about the interface he had. Now that was allegedly a mental interface. You had to think about it, but the fact that he could, pop up a HUD and think about the right thing, it would scroll down, confirm it, and then fire. And that's kind of what I'm envisioning here with something like that, Jeff. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, I wouldn't want my eyes selecting my windows. I'd be all over the place, selecting
Well,
every window, on the screen.
Yeah. Like you kind of can do it now because like when I have to go in to put my passcode, I look at each number and then tap it and look and tap and look and look. So it brings, and the same thing when you're looking at the apps, it sees your eyes going around and it'll highlight that app and then you just tap it to load it. So they've got some of that technology already in the Vision Pro, but I'm just be curious to how the OS is going to allow it to actually launch something and do something without any hand gestures. That's
Well,
you're
what
talking
double
about
blink.
accessibility.
Yeah, it
like,
does.
just
Double
like,
blink.
Yeah, like Genie, right?
All right, so now I've got this image in my head of Marty sending Eric one of the stupid video jokes, and it hits the punchline, and Eric goes, "Oh," and then it's just like zip, 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 and 3 videos go flying by.
All right, we need to move on.
I don't know. Worse, I've got this picture now of Marty in a genie
Yeah.
costume. That's not
Yeah.
good. That's good.
No,
Oh,
no, I do not need that.
So let's talk a little bit
Yes.
about I'm moving on. So let's talk about this article that Marty was kind enough to share from the Wall Street Journal. They paid $3,500 for the Apple Vision Pro. A year later, it still hurts. And the headline is the mixed reality headset launched last year with great promise, but these buyers would give dirty looks and sore necks, and I don't need that. And I mean, there are some more early adopters out there. I'm not going to go read through the whole article, but maybe they have some bit of a buyer's remorse. They're not happy with it, and even showing pictures of it sitting in a bin, which that kind of creeps me out because you spent that kind of money. You got that sitting in that bin there. It's shown in the article. But it was a new technology where I gave in. I gave in because I wanted to. I wanted to. I was able to be able to get one, and I'm able to be in the first right in the door with the latest of this technology. But why? And if you invested in it, then you probably should try hard to continue to try using it, because it's improving every time there's a new OS update, like we just talked about. And with Vision OS 3, it's going to be the same way. What do you think, Eric? I mean, what do you think this is kind of over a little bit of a like a publicity that this article is?
Kind of. I mean, I'm sort of impressed they found a group of people that were all unhappy. Yeah, because you kind of would have to try. Now, to be fair, if all they did is they bought it early and only made it through 1 or 2 minor updates, they never got to Vision OS 2.
Right.
And it was painful until that
Vision OS
happened.
1 was very painful, and I went to by the time I bought it, it was already there. 2 was already out, so I went right to beta. I didn't even want to even monk it because it was still in beta. It wasn't even there was still was it 1.5 or whatever version it was. But Marty twisted my arm and says, "Yeah, you got to put it beta on because it's got the newer features." So I stayed on beta because it doesn't affect. Again, this is not a primary device, so I'm comfortable doing it that way. It's not. I mean, worst case scenario, I erase it and reformat if I have to. But so far, it's been flawless. So, what do you think, Marty? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the other thing is that if you look at the resale market for the headsets, even for a device that's a year old, the resale value, it's not retail, but it's still a good 2/3 of the original price. So versus keeping it in a box and talking about how unhappy you are. A device doesn't keep that kind of resale value if there isn't some value in it.
Well, you better send some links to Chuck. That might be something he might save some money to get him to buy one, right?
Yeah, Eric and I talked about maybe being a broker for dissatisfied Vision Pro based on this article. It was a hack job. They interviewed like 2 people. They found 2 or 3 people that didn't like it, didn't use it, didn't have much to say about it. Eric and I quickly identified, I was looking at the picture of the box where it's sitting in, and we tried to identify what other objects were in the box. But we also identified the guy was obviously hoarding toilet paper because there's a toilet paper box next to it. So maybe he's looking for another problem. In the comments, one comment was, I wonder how many of these guys own Cybertrucks.
Yeah, I can discuss it every time I see one of those darn Cybertrucks.
So ugly.
So I think it was just poor. I think it was really just poor journalism, or the person who wrote the article had a point of view and thought they'd get clicks on it.
That's something Jeff can tell us. That's all it's about is clicks. I mean, you look at something like this and you go, "Damn, how far has the Wall Street Journal fallen if they're resorting to a hack job article like this?"
I mean, you can only really read it in Apple News if you don't have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal. So our link is courtesy of a friend, so you can see the whole article. But yeah, people are paying for this too, to see this content. So, Jeff, Chuck, anybody you want to add anything else to this?
I'll just throw in that I'm seeing. It seems like I'm seeing more and more of these articles everywhere, and the question you have to start to ask yourself is: does this add any value to anything?
No.
I mean, if we interview, probably wouldn't take much. If we interviewed people, we could easily find at least 2 or 3 people that are dissatisfied with the Pope. So, there are always going to be people that are dissatisfied, no matter what it is.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I can tell you where the value is in this, and it's in traffic.
Yep.
It's understood in the blogging and journalism world that if you want to drive traffic to an article, you write a hit piece about Apple. That always gets traffic. So find a couple people that that have surprisingly weak neck muscles, and say it's too heavy and I can't wear it more than 20 minutes without being in a lot of pain. Um, yeah, maybe you should go see a doctor and make sure there's not something wrong with your neck or spine. But anyhow, if you want to get extra clicks and extra ad traffic, do an Apple hit piece.
Oh, they got 142 comments about this. So, and in
There you
fact,
go.
the latest comment was we just talked about. I wonder what portion of these users now own Cybertrucks. So, well, we ironically just said that. So, but yeah, it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and move on from Vision Pro and let's jump into beta. Well, there is no beta this week because iOS 18.5 was released to the public this week. And had some great features added. It was released on Monday of this week. There was the fifth update to iOS 18 and iPad OS 18, and which came in last September, and just a little over a month after 18.4. And of course, you go in, get the setting update, go to Settings, General, and Software Update. So you will see another update if you are a beta tester and installed the RC. I noticed that on my iPhone 16e that I ran it because it didn't update it. A number of the new features and fixes is it does have a Pride Harmony wallpaper that's included now. Parents will now receive a notification for screen time passcode is used on a child's device. Buying with an iPhone is now available when purchasing content within the Apple TV app on a third-party device. So they fixed an issue with the Vision Pro that may display a black screen, as well as support for carrier-provided satellite features, which is now available as old as the iPhone 13, which is pretty awesome. Apple didn't have to do that, but iOS 19 will be coming anytime now within the next month. So be interesting to see, other than being anything incremental from 18.5 that is released from now until then. You guys, those have updated it. Have you seen anything that you've liked so far? We know we've had it for a couple days, and some may have not even updated yet. But anything anybody want to add?
I haven't really noticed much difference.
Yeah, Marty and I have been both on beta, and I did notice some of that stuff. But anything else you noticed, Marty, now that we are on the full version?
No, I think this is. I don't know if we'll see much more of anything, even if they do a little bit of it until we get to WWDC. So I'm expecting maybe a 2.51 if something is terrible that needs to be fixed, but not a lot in terms of updates or even developer updates until we get till after June 9th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else anybody want to add? All right. Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it was a nice, smooth update. Everything worked. Oddly enough, the only issue I had was, I updated everything at the same time, and I had a power outage, and my speakers didn't come back, and I ended up having to talk to everything with the iPad. And the iPad Home app fixed a lot of issues, and that was unexpected.
Yeah, because I usually just let the HomePod update, but when I remember to go to the Home app, I go ahead and just force the update right away for HomePod. And I know, Jeff, you always update HomePod immediately after you go update your iPhone, right?
Actually, yes, I do.
Yeah.
In hopes that I'll see a dramatic improvement, and
and you always get disappointed.
Right, but in a sense of fairness, I can't say I'm disappointed with the update yet because I haven't had enough time to really start playing with what I do with my HomePod and the S Lady, and see if I'm getting better performance and results. So next week, then I'll be disappointed.
All right, we'll tune in next week when we find out what your disappointments are.
Yes.
Anybody else want to add anything to this before we move on? Okay. Just quickly, the WatchOS 11.5 was just released. Nothing really notable. They did add the Pride watch face to it to match the band, which I have here on the watch. That was that for WatchOS and
Hey,
tvOS
Dave,
also. Go ahead.
before
Yep.
we do tvOS, I want to do a listener and viewer request. If you're
Oh,
still
sure.
running an Apple Watch Series 8 and you installed watchOS 11.5, have you seen an improvement in battery performance? And I'm asking because I have not updated my Apple Watch because I didn't want to give up the blood ox sensor feature. And I noticed after 11.5 on watchOS that my battery life seems to have improved.
So, but you shouldn't lose the blood oxygen even though you update the OS because
No,
you
well, I'm
had
talking about like if you go to a newer model of Apple Watch
oh
where the
the 10.
feature's not available.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so anyhow, point is watchOS 11.5 battery life on that aging battery in this old watch seems to have actually improved with 11.5.
All right. Be sure to send us email and let us know if you are having improved battery life on the Series 8 of the Apple Watch. It's feedback@intouchwithios.com. Let us know. And as I was saying, tvOS is also out. Most of the time, tvOS doesn't really have much. I'm trying to pull up the article here, and it is. It just has full release notes in the support document. Really, not much notable with it. They did it also in like we were talking about HomePod software 18.5 is out as well. And again,
Hold
nothing really
on.
notable. Yeah, yes.
That's lazy.
Not
Apple
writing an
shares
article
the
about
full release notes. Tell us what's in the fracking release notes. Don't tell us that the info's in the release
Oh,
notes.
That's lazy. Of
Do a
Mac
copy
rumors.
and paste. Whatever. Just put the info in your article. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
All right, I fixed it because I have the direct link to Apple's support article. There you go.
Right. And to be clear, my soapboxing was about the article from the
Mac
Apple blog that you
rumors.
had found versus you personally, Dave.
I know that.
I know you're not lazy. You're on top
No,
of it.
I try. Also, with tvOS 18.5, it did add some synchronized Dolby Atmos playback for AirPlay and Bluetooth speakers, which I'm looking forward to try because I have my audio engine with the Bluetooth adapter connected to it, and I was always having problems with syncing. They did fix the AirPlay over Bluetooth, according to Apple's release notes on this. The feature should address some persistent syncing issues for some Apple TV users that were encountering trying to play audio with Dolby Atmos. Multiple complaints were over on Reddit and the support forum, and we're going to try that out and see how that looks because I have not tried that yet. So that is one thing that came out with tvOS. And the other thing with the tvOS and the 4K and Apple HD software updates are right there for you. So if you want to find out what was updated, make sure you check that out. That's right there. Apple did do some updates for the first time to the C1 modem. Of course, the C1 modem is the new modem that's in the iPhone 16e. They included a security fix, which is the Apple's design modem. And of course, another link, according to the security document, there was a vulnerability with the C1 modem that says that it addressed a baseline security flaw that could allow an attacker to a privileged network position to intercept network traffic. Basically, a hacker that had access to a cellular network infrastructure could potentially exploit the vulnerability for surveillance or employ a man-in-the-middle attack. So, good for Apple, making sure they're staying on top of updates. That's a really new modem, and this is the first one that's had since the 16e came out, which was back in February of this year. So good for them staying on top of that. So that's a really good thing. We also have some other things that have been added with accessibility. Apple did announce, and I put this under beta because this is going to be released later this year. They did have a news release 2 days ago here, since they're recording. It's going to be some accessibility nutrition labels on the App Store, magnifier for the Mac, a Braille accessibility reader, plus innovative updates to Listen Live, Vision OS, personal voice, and more. And there's a whole load of stuff in accessibility. It's going to be in iOS 19. We'll report on this once iOS 19 is in our hands. But this is some really interesting things, and Apple actually is. It's not normal for Apple to see them highlighting something that hasn't even been released yet. They say it's coming. We're always hearing them in the rumors, but Apple actually released a news as a news release for this. Isn't that interesting to see that they did this?
I hope that it's coming soon. I'm looking forward to some.
Yeah, I mean, for you, especially with your vision and your challenges, I mean, hopefully there's some improvements for you.
One thing I would love, and I don't know if there's already an app for this, if someone would come out with a barcode scanner that you could like take into the grocery store and see nutrition labels and things along those lines on the full iPhone screen. Because right now I go to the grocery store and I'm trying to look at what the sodium content is. I'm trying to look at what some of the other, parts of it is, how much sugar and fiber and all the rest of that. Right. And I usually have to go to the magnifier app and screw with it and try to get it so that I can read it. But if I could just scan the barcode and have the nutrition label come on the screen, that would be like fabulous.
It must be. I'd be surprised. I'm surprised that there isn't something out there that does that.
And that wouldn't be
there's an
benefit for
app.
just people that have sight issues. That would be a benefit for anybody.
Sure.
Guy, I played with an app. It's been a few years ago now that it looks at the actual label on the product and pulls everything out and displays it for you.
If you remember what that is, I'd love to
Look
try
at
it.
Yuka, YUCA.
Okay. Put that in the show notes for us, Marty.
Yeah.
Dave, Davis, to your question about Apple announcing this as opposed to waiting until they release it. Today is Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And from what I understand, they released this in conjunction with that or in preparation for that.
That makes sense. That's right. So I know our friend Shelley Brisbane's been doing some coverage on that on Six Colors and Jason Snell as well. So I know that's been some coverage. There's been coverage on our podcaster peers. So yeah, that was right. I forgot about that. Thank you.
I think they did a nice job of bundling all of these pieces together into an article. We talked about it last night on Old Mac Gang, and it was. It's got some impressive stuff. I shared some of it with my wife, who has macular degeneration going on, and it's the first time she's got excited about me talking about Apple.
That's
so
awesome. That's awesome. In fact, Apple did highlight this in a video that they have on YouTube. It's called the magnifier on the Mac, because it is going to be coming out on the Mac later this year on Mac OS 16. And the ability to be able to use your iPhone as a magnifier that's mounted on top of your Mac while there's a photo of the video here showing somebody sitting in the audience and being able to do a magnifier and magnify it right from the Mac, which is pretty awesome. Because there are apps that were out there that would do it for the screen, but this actually gives you flexibility to magnify externally with an iPhone. So check that out. There's a YouTube video that links in the show notes of the article about this. So pretty cool stuff. There's it also talks about in this article there's music haptics on the iPhone for global accessibility, and what that does, that's another was another video, and provides taps, textures, and vibrations of audio of the audio of the music that's playing, so that users who are deaf or hard of hearing can actually experience the songs based on those vibrations. So, I think Apple is amazing with its accessibility, and they continue to just thrive with these great new features so that people have the limitations. Anything else anybody want to add on that? All right, let's move on to In Touch with Mac. Sequoia, or Jeff likes to call it Tall Trees, 15.5 is out this week. That's the 5th major update to Sequoia, and it was launched last September, a little over a month from 15.4. The 15.5 was pretty light on new features. Apple listing only a change to screen time in its notes. So enhancements, bugs, fixes, security. That's what we're pretty much talking about. So I think it's important to update. Some of us wait a day or two, but I forgot to do it. Can you believe that? So I will do that after the show tonight. So,
No. Go ahead. Start it now.
I'll start now.
Wait.
Let it.
Yeah.
It'll be.
What could go wrong?
What terrible things terribly could go wrong? So go ahead and check that out. Other thing that they added with Safari web push update in 15.5 will save you on some battery life. Not that I've ever experienced with a lot of battery life, at least on my newer Macs. I tell you, I have a work Mac that I've been using a lot on battery, and I got like almost close to 2 days of use on it. Probably on average using it like 3 to 4 hours each day. So the battery life is on Macs, and especially on this is an M3, is pretty amazing. So, but that's good that they're saying they're making more efficiencies with Safari when it comes to battery life, because that's the big thing that they've been talking about here with battery life with all of our devices. So, all right, so let's move on to another topic: CarPlay Ultra. It was announced. And are we excited? I don't know. Because the first car that's going to begin with having it is the really affordable Aston Martin vehicles. So the CarPlay Ultra, which is the next generation of CarPlay, will be available on that Aston Martin vehicle orders in the US and Canada. And they'll be able to update existing models with the feature on the next generation system through a software update in the coming weeks. So that's kind of cool. They're retrofitting other Aston Martin vehicles, and it is one of the things that they do finally have declared and got information is that a design is going to be unique to each automaker, which is a great thing. And they started with Aston Martin. I don't think any of us here would afford an Aston Martin, because I think most of them are around $250,000. So a little out of my budget, and I think most of us here, but. Good to see that it's happening, and there are going to be other vehicles that are becoming later. They are working on those other vehicles. They have a list here. I got a link in the show notes here to what is going to be the three right now. The more affordable vehicles is going to be a Hyundai, a Kia, and Genesis.
That's
the original list.
Hyundai.
Yeah, the original list was all the big ones, like Acura, Audi, Ford, Honda, Jaguar, Land Rover, and Porsche was. We were all waiting for this for years. What do the people think here? I'll start with you, Jeff. What do you think? Where is this going to go? I mean, if it's starting with high-end cars, is it going to come to cars that a normal person can afford?
Well, it depends on your definition of normal person.
Well,
but
I guess a car that's not over $50, $60, $70, or $80,000. Let's say.
I mean, eventually, yes. It'll work its way down the system. I'm glad to see this announcement, because it means we finally have CarPlay Ultra actually rolling out. And I know a lot of people are complaining, saying this is taking too long. Apple's dropping the ball. It's not coming together. It takes a really long time to go from concept through design and then production to getting a car out into a customer's hands. So I'm not surprised that we're just starting to see this now. And a lot of the companies that were announced in the beginning that we haven't heard anything from lately, except for GM related products, I'm I'm not that concerned.
Right.
It's going to come. It just, the car industry, this is slow. So
is.
it's just going to take a while. And this will be a luxury feature at first.
Mhm.
I mean, think about when CarPlay first rolled out. It wasn't available in every car. And over time, then it it broadened out or expanded out to cover more manufacturers and more models. So I expect the same thing is going to happen here, but I don't expect this to be something that you get on your base model. I don't know, whatever your favorite base model consumer car is.
Yeah.
You go.
What about you? What about you, Chuck?
You go.
Yeah, which is I read is making a comeback. But that's another
No.
story. That's another story. Chuck, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm with Jeff. I think it'll get here eventually. I think what it's going to be really interesting is just how much they can do with CarPlay in the legacy cars. You know that the new cars, they're going to focus on that and doing those capabilities. But if you have a car that's 2, 3, 4, 5+ years old, you know, how much more capability can they build into it, because they're going to be limited by the hardware that's in the dash already.
Mhm.
So we kind of come back to some of the discussions we've had about third party options or third party add-ons that you could maybe mount up on the dash, you know, the way you do a webcam now. And how will that integrate in with CarPlay? Will it? So that a lot of us who aren't ready to buy new cars or don't intend to buy new cars can get more out of the CarPlay Ultra experience.
I hope Apple continues to, as iOS updates, it continues to do its updates with CarPlay. I can't imagine it wouldn't, especially if you have a newer iPhone like the 16 or coming soon the 17. But it's not going to be this car. That's why I think that was probably a smart move on their part, branding it CarPlay Ultra, because it's going to be a full dash experience. And all the automakers can actually customize it to the way they like. That's one of the things that they were worried about with the car manufacturers. Are they going to be at the mercy of Apple? I don't know. Apple's being very flexible with the automakers. They can, if they provide their knowledge and know-how of the software, and they can customize it any way they'd like that matches with the vehicle. So, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the inner workings of CarPlay
Yeah.
in my car, in the dash. I mean, obviously it's running off of the iPhone, and so that's a good thing because that can stay absolutely up to date. But what's on the other side of that USB-C cable or that wireless connection, and how does that affect what can be offered? That's the part that I'm not familiar with. So I'm confident that Apple will give me everything that it can possibly give me, but it may just be limited by the actual hardware in the vehicle itself.
Right. How about you, Marty? What do you think with this? Will you buy a car with this?
Sure. I would love to buy a car with this. I'm saving
get that
up
Aston
right
Martin
now.
for you.
Yeah. You know, I think they should do a CarPlay Ultra Pro Max version. And then for the rest of us who are driving older cars, they could just call it CarPlay Hoi Polloi. And I just like to say Hoi Polloi.
No,
So
that's going
you
to be
could look that up.
CarPlay Air.
Yeah, CarPlay Lite. I think it's great. I'm thinking of the configuration in my car, and there's never going to be anything in the current car that I have that's going to replace what is the odometer and the speedometer. And all of the shots in this show, you know, screen changes from that point of view. Everything I do with CarPlay is meant to distract me as a driver over to the right while I look down and try and use a very antiquated touch panel on my car to try and change things around. And then my wife screams at me. So that's one of the features.
Yeah. Eric, how about you?
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not going to have a car anytime soon, but eventually I will have a car that has CarPlay all the way across as far as I can see on the front of the car, or I'm just going to have a whole crap ton of iPads and I'm going to mock it up and pretend. I don't really care which.
I called an Uber this weekend and it turned out to be a Tesla. And when I got out of the car, I had to go up to my hotel room and take a shower and say a rosary.
Yeah.
But the technology in it was pretty swift.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Guy, bring us home with this.
Okay. Well, I'm still waiting to hear from Aston Martin for my review copy of CarPlay Ultra.
Maybe
I mean, any day.
MKBHD can lend you the one he gets.
Yeah. But I agree with Chuck. It's going to be limited to the types of vehicles that already have a full screen on their dashboard that shows things like speedometers and tachometers and all the rest of that. I've got a Mazda, excuse me, I have a Mazda CX-5 and it's got one screen on the dashboard that you can adjust and do stuff with, but that's not going to work with CarPlay Ultra.
Right.
So the other thing, and I'll finish with this, my Kia Soul, 2016 Kia Soul had CarPlay, and I don't remember the year that CarPlay came out, but that was a cheap car and it had CarPlay. And the fact that Hyundai and Kia are being mentioned in this announcement tells me that it's not going to be limited to super expensive cars and that we'll see it in affordable cars. For one thing, remember that by replacing the mechanical gauges, that's going to be a cost savings because these screens that they put into the cars are not that expensive and they don't have to be for the information that they're conveying to the driver. And it's a win-win because now with the help of the manufacturer of the cars, we can adjust the kind of information that we have across our entire dashboard.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow, I said that seriously.
Yeah, that was a very, very good response. I appreciate it. So thank
very
you for
articulate.
That.
Well done.
It was.
No, I'm so proud of myself. Ooh, go Guy.
Yeah.
Let's go into the chat room at youtube.com/intouchwithios. We got Webb Bixby and Cletus giving us some comments here. Webb asked, can they win Mercedes back? I don't know. The CEO wasn't very pleased with what was being offered, but who knows? We'll see where that happens, I would think. While in the USA, they are considered a luxury brand, but not so much in Europe. And he says, you're talking about Aston Martin, right? Talking Chuck. So Webb giving us his insights because he is quite the automobile connoisseur. So, and we a few of us have driven with him, and he is quite the driver. So you could be with us too when we record live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific in YouTube here, and join us as well. So please come and check us out. Let's go ahead and move on to some other topics here real quick. One of the things Apple has just announced that they are going to be able to do, Apple Music got a new transfer tool that allows you to make switching from Spotify much easier. They introduced this new feature designed to allow prospective Apple Music users to import their saved music and playlists from third-party music services to Apple Music. The feature is either expanding at a test phase or it's rolling out, and it's available in Australia and New Zealand right now, as according to a support article. Signs of the options was going back as far as February 2024 when an Android user saw reference to it. So actually, Apple is going with SongShift. They're partnering with them which was an app that allowed you to transfer playlists. I was using an app called the Playlist with a Y for Apple Music that was doing it for me as well. So I'm interested to see that there's actually going to be a tool here to do it because I've put together. I mean, I have a free account with Spotify, but there were some playlists I created just to play them, and yeah, it was pretty seamless to be able to move them over. Has anybody tried any of these types of services to do that?
Yeah, I actually years and years and years ago I used SongShift to move from Spotify to Apple Music, and it just worked. It just did it. It's one of those utilities that I can't imagine why you would bounce back and forth, but I used it once. It did what I wanted, and I never looked back from a Spotify perspective. But yeah, so if Apple's partnering with them, they know their stuff. At least
Good
in
move.
my case, I didn't have like dozens and dozens of playlists, but I had a couple that I wanted to move over, and it was seamless.
Excellent. Anybody else want to add anything to this? All right. Let's go ahead and move on and talk a little bit about Apple Card. Apple Card has 3 features. This was an article in 9 to 5 Mac, and this was a go-to favorite for the author here. We're like 6 years now since the Apple Card came out, and we're still kind of in limbo where this card's going to go with Goldman Sachs. Nothing has been discussed lately, but I still continue to enjoy it. I think all of us here who do have the Apple Card do as well. I think the number one thing is, as he said, is as well as the monthly installments for Apple products. I mean, I find it to be just such a convenience. I've had iPhones on there. I bought my Mac Mini on there. I've bought many iPhones over the years using the card. And one thing is with my iPhone is I'm on the Apple upgrade program every year, so I don't need to do that. So I just make the purchase and get the 3% cash back on that because you have to pay the tax every year. But having those monthly installments is pretty awesome. I just paid off my iPad 13 that I just bought a year ago. So that's a great feature, and you get the 3% cash back up front when you do the payment. Savings account, definitely another perk for sure. I think it's the interest has dropped quite a bit, not quite a bit, but a little bit. I think it's at about 3.9 the last I checked. But still, that's not bad. And it's so easy and convenient to be able to transfer that money into the account. Just link your bank account to it and you just transfer it over. I have a bank account that money's going into, and every time that money goes in there, I transfer it right into the savings account and don't even have to think about it. Get that done all the time. So, and then the third thing is Apple Maps places for transactions. So wherever something was purchased, it actually shows you. Where it was purchased and not just who the vendor is. So like in this example, it's showing a place in the La Carousel, which I'm not going to go into the assumption that is from Paris. And that's kind of cool too. So it does show shows that as well. So I can never complain about Apple Card. I use it all the time. Anybody have any other insights of what they like about the Apple Card? Anything different than it was talked about?
It's just free money.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely, with a lot of credit cards, you have to jump through hoops to get the 2 or the 3% back. And,
right.
And Apple's just like, nah, we're here, take it.
I think I look back and I think over the last 6 years, I must have made like $3,000 in percent purchases back. Cause even the 1%, is not much, but it adds up.
It adds up.
Yep.
And it's still, I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's still more competitive than my local bank from a money market perspective. That you can move money in and out reasonably quickly. I think they say it could take 7 to 10 days, but it never does. But
it's a day.
But I'm definitely getting not as Dave said, not a hugely better rate, but a definitely better rate than my bank gives me.
But the transfer is so quick because I do it from any of my bank accounts. I have a number of bank accounts. It's the next day. Yeah. I mean, it already credits it to the account, and then you look at the bank, the bank it came from the next day. It's debited from the account. So they got a good thing here. So anybody else?
Yeah, I use it as my tech slush fund, the Apple savings account. It's like just move the 3% or 2% or 1% over there. And I'll tell you, I don't count my rings. I don't count my steps, but I love to see that little graph go up in the bank account because it's like, come on, Apple. Daddy needs a new pair of Apple glasses. So it will be there when I need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I like that the daily cash doesn't just go into a counter where it says, oh yeah, you've got this. What do you want to do with it? It dumps it right into savings. So it starts earning interest right away. That's really convenient.
even it's 23 cents, it's going to transfer that if it's what it was 1% on something you bought. Yeah, and it gives you, it lets you know right away. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about RCS. We all were pretty excited about when RCS finally came over to iMessage, and then we're able to talk to our friends that use Android, those green bubble people. So the ability to being able to get RCS messages, being able to actually see if someone read a message or not. You never had that option on an Android user. You can send graphics just like we do in iMessage, how we us blue mobile people. Well, it was determined that there was more than 1 billion RCS messages that are sent daily on both Android and iOS. And this isn't just in the United States. And Google said this. This was quoted from Google. That of course we know what the communication protocol did. It replaced that prior SMS and MMS standards, which were very old and antiquated. And we know it was developed way back when by the GSM Association, and Google's been championing it for years, and they finally won Apple over, and we finally got it on here. So I think everybody's pretty happy about it. But like I said, it supports high res photos and videos. You got a much better experience with the Android folks. Support for larger file size and sharing, audio messages, cross-platform emojis. The emojis work now. You know, you would send emoji to an Android user, it'll be a bunch of characters. You wouldn't even know what the emoji is half the time. So this is cool. I'm glad that by adding Apple iOS, I believe that has really boosted the use of RCS. Jeff, what do you think?
I'm actually not surprised at these numbers at all. And really, it's just an indication that that operating systems have been updated to support RCS, and I think most people don't even know. They're just using their phones, and text messaging is incredibly popular and convenient. So there you go. But I'm glad that that RCS is being used much more broadly. So, like you said, we now have better security cross-platform, and that's a good thing.
What do you think, Eric?
I guess I'm happy it's there. I still don't. I don't kind of like the older texting. I don't like the fact it's tied to a number. Because I still run into that problem where I'm holding a conversation, I switch to a different device, and then all of a sudden the conversation's not there, or I can send it to some people, but not, and it's gotten better that you can tell your phone to talk to the computer and share the number, but it's still a little more fiddly than I would like it to be.
Okay. Chuck, you think, are you been using the RCS a lot?
No, I really haven't, Dave. That's just it. I haven't. It really didn't change my use of the iPhone or messaging at all. So I'm a terrible one to ask.
Okay, Marty, Guy, wrap it up. Or what do you?
Yeah, I have family members who are a mixed Android iOS family.
We have
The
one
iOS people are, are my side of the family, and the Android's the other side of the family. And so, like the Hatfields and McCoys, we always hated having to respond separately in order to get the message across. I'm curious what the numbers were like before this article came out in terms of when we didn't have combined RCS, if it really has brought people together in a way.
I don't think it has. I think this is just an indication that people do a lot of texting, and it just so happens that we can track RCS now, and so that's how a lot of this is happening.
Guy, anything you want to add?
Yeah, while most of the people that I know and most of the members of my family are using iPhones, hallowed be its name. I do have a few people, including my son Guy's girlfriend / hopefully soon to be wife, who is Android. And I've noticed that since the update a lot of the problems that we were having in a group chat have just gone away. And so that makes me happy.
Yes. Yes. All right. Next news story. Apple and Universal Music have announced sound therapy. Apple and Universal Music announced it as a jointly introduced a sound therapy, which is a collection of wellness playlists consisting of popular songs, added sound waves or white noise to help listeners focus, relax, and sleep better. The sound therapy has different categories: focus, relax, and sleep. Playlist includes extended instrumental and reimagined versions of popular tracks from such artists as Imagine Dragons, Katy Perry, Casey Musgraves, and others. And this is kind of cool. I know there's a lot of people out there who like to listen to white noise and sound like this to help sleep and help focus, feel better. Now you can actually literally have these playlists, and these are actual songs that some folks might like. Anybody want to add anything to this? What would this be something you use?
I'm kind of waiting to see if they ever add the Sex Pistols to that list.
Okay.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am actually going to play with this, Dave.
Yeah. I'm too.
I have built some weird custom playlists for
I subscribe to them, I
relaxation
know.
and sleeping and okay, yeah, you know I have some weird stuff. I have one playlist that I have not shared, and yet
Bet you I do.
okay, I have one playlist that I have not shared that I'm admitting to, and all it is an hour long track of iTunes, which is like a Starship engine sound. And it's the white noise sound that I've been using to get to sleep at night. Yeah, these are the things we have to do. But anyhow, this is why I'm actually really interested in playing with the sound therapy thing, because if they have put together something that works really well, and I've played around with Calm also,
Too.
so I went to see how this compares with Calm, and I will be playing with it some.
I'll jump in too, Jeff.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I want to play with it because I sleep with brown noise. I've tried white; it's a little too sharp. I've tried green; it didn't do anything for me.
Have
With
you seen
brown-
the South Park episode? Okay. I'm sorry I interrupted. Please continue.
No. But just that. I mean, that has been my go-to, and I use an app for it. But it's terrific. I mean, whether I'm at home or whether I'm traveling, it creates that constant, consistent environment that I'm familiar with. And so, and it also, one of the interesting things I think about it is it doesn't matter how loud you turn it up or how low you keep it. Turn it up to drowned out noise that's going on outside, and after about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, you don't even realize it's loud. It's just there. And so I'm anxious to see what they've put into this. I'm not sure I'm really a playlist kind of person that is going to listen to music as I go to sleep or try to sleep. But some of the this now it's all of a sudden now it's fashionable to call it sound therapy. Call it whatever you want. It's if you haven't tried it, and especially if you're like in a noisy hotel or maybe a college dorm or something like that, oh, it'll save your life.
Yep. Anybody else want anything?
Yeah, I am interested in this probably for other reasons. When I like to have something going on when I'm working, and the something going on has to be background and can't be too distracting. Particularly, I can't listen to music with lyrics in it because, particularly music that I'm familiar with, because if I'm writing or putting things together, I just can't handle the lyrics and the sentences I'm trying to create. So I'm kind of curious about this to get. I think the Sex Pistols would be cool because that would kind of keep my energy going. I don't need more Enya. I kind of need something with a little more kick to it. And so I want to try it out for that reason. And obviously this product was put together by someone, if the goal was to soothe you to sleep with just ongoing noise that finally knocks you out, this person has never been married. because 41 years of marriage and the droning goes on and finally you completely nod out.
Are we talking about snoring or talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking.
Eric, you have the last word. Anything?
Well, I'm looking forward to this for donating blood at the Red Cross, because I discovered that
Okay.
there are two fire stations where I go to donate, and one of them, whatever the soundtrack is, causes my blood pressure to rise just enough to not qualify, and then I have to go back. So, and I discovered, I could put, AirPods in and turn out all the dampening and stuff, and if I guess right, it works. So I'm hoping one of these playlists will be a low blood pressure playlist, and then I can go to the Red Cross only once, donate successfully.
I think that's the Ian Dury and the Blockheads playlist.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. A couple more stories before we wrap up this week. This is kind of funny, if not surprising. Max. What is Max? We didn't even know what Max was because HBO decided to change HBO Max to Max, right? Well, not even a year later, they reversed their decision. It's now going to be rebranded to HBO Max.
Shocker.
Turns out it was a bad idea, dropping that very well-known HBO brand that's been around for 40 years. Why they changed this is beyond me. A couple weeks ago, they changed the color scheme of their graphic, which was blue, and now it's black, the background. I guess they say that they were quoted as saying that this the evolution had also been influenced by changing consumer needs, and the fact that the no consumer today is saying they want more content, but they're saying they want better content. And I tend to say I agree. There's been a lot of great shows on HBO Max that I've enjoyed. I love Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. He's hilarious, and I always watch that. I just started getting addicted to watching him. I make sure up 10 o'clock Sunday night to watch it. And just so many other great shows. The Pit that just came out was that great medical drama that they came out, and that was great. So, but are we all surprised they changed back this brand? I'm not.
No.
Stupid idea.
It shouldn't have taken
people
this long.
People in my family could not figure out what Max was.
Yeah.
And
honestly,
then it was tied essentially to our HBO account, and it was part of the catalog stuff.
Right.
And so when I shared this with Aileen that they were changing back to HBO Max, she was like, "Well, I'm glad they are before all of us who remember what HBO was die off."
Yeah.
So
I remember the theme song before every movie, right?
yeah.
Be in touch with iOS Orchestra here. Wow.
That was fantastic.
That was good. So good to hear that they did this. Two more quick articles here. Apple Maps is now featuring insights from expert sources like the Michelin Guide. Apple has updated the Maps app. This is just yesterday as we record here with those insights, ratings, reviews, and expert sources with the help of some really high-ranking restaurants, hotels, and the Michelin Guide, which is, of course, the one of the more leading industry experts of making recommendations, gives a lot of, when you get that rating, especially restaurants, they tend to be very good and tend to be very busy too. So good to see that they continue to evolve Maps and put more of this great information in here. I know Google's doing a lot of stuff too. I know Google just came out with the feature where you can take a screenshot of something and it'll actually create a map of where you're located in that screenshot. So I think maps are starting to evolve even more. Anybody want to add anything to this?
It keeps getting better.
It does. It really is. So check that out. And then the last story I want to wrap up this week is Apple did. We talked about the Pride Edition band that came out, as well as the wallpapers, and it's on the Apple Watch. I did buy the Apple Watch Pride band, and I really like it. I think it's looking really good. I have it on camera here. I've had some comments. Oh, look, there, Marty has it now too. So I think it's a really good looking band, and I've had a lot of compliments. People say, "Ah, I really like your watch band." I don't know if you've had that yet, Marty, but I think Apple does great things with this, and I'm fully happy to support Pride. It came really quick. I ordered it. I think as soon as it was, I think we talked about it on the Mac Show last week, and I ordered it that day, and it came like that Saturday. So it was that quick. But I'm enjoying this. I had the other Sparkle one from last year. I know Jeff, I don't know if you're still wearing that one or not, but
not today, but yeah, but I usually do wear the Apple Pride Sprinkles band.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to add this to your collection. So
yeah, we have a friend, a lesbian friend, who, Aileen and I, who has been struggling with cancer, but is always very much into Pride. And so yesterday we ordered one for her when Aileen saw mine. Nice. And I explained to her what it was about. We ordered it for her, so she got it at her door this morning, and that's really kind of exciting. So if it's not your thing, it might be something you want to get for someone who you care about in the community, and kind of share that with them if they have an Apple Watch.
Yeah. So anybody else want to add anything? We'll go ahead and wrap up. But before we wrap up, though, I want to talk about Macstock. I'm wearing my Macstock shirt from last year. This was Macstock 8. We were there last year. Most of us were. All of us were there last year. And now Macstock 9 is going to be July 11th, 12th, 13th. It's coming up. I go to the website every time to look how many days are until Macstock. It's 56 days, 11 hours, 48 minutes, and 30 seconds. So it's coming soon here. And the theme is share, and there's some great speakers that are going to be there. We have a whole long list of great new speakers, as well as our favorites. Marty's going to be speaking. Jeff is. Kelly Gamont and Brittany Smith are going to be there together. That's worth the price of admission right there, having those two gals being there, because they're great people. They're great friends of us, and they're always fun to be around and hanging out. Allison Sheridan will be there, Brett Terpstra, Mike Schmitz, and Marty's going to be there, as well as his son. We'll get to meet him for the first time. You're doing a presentation with him. So there's so much great content. There's going to be so much great to talk about. Of course, Chuck's doing the Road to Macstock with all the speakers. I think he's talked to a few people. He might have talked to me. You might see it by the time you hear this. And if not, you will see it soon. So you got to come check us out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Doc Rock's going to be there too. I can't believe it. I'll be able to meet him for the very first time in person. So I'm really looking forward to that. So it's a great way to network, meet new friends, hang out with old friends. Even Mac Geek Gab's going to be back. Dave Hamilton and his crew is going to be there doing a live recording of Mac Geek Gab on the Saturday night. So there's a price for admission right there to be able to check that out. So come check it out. Again, it's July 11th, 12th, and 13th and it's coming up soon. If you register and if you want to get discount, you can, because you can use our actual special code InTouch50. If you use that at checkout, you're going to save $50 off the cost of a 3-day weekend pass. So please go check it out, macstockconferenceandexpo.com, and join us. We would love to see you. Anybody want to add anything?
Well, the great thing about the Macstock Conference and Expo, number one, since they've moved it to
I forgot
the Holiday Inn
to mention the hotel. Yeah, go ahead.
In Crystal Lake. Everything is in one spot. So once you check into the hotel, you got 3 days of just meeting so many great people that you don't even have to worry. You can just put your car in a parking lot and it's going to gather dust until Sunday.
What it did for me.
So if you can get to the Macstock, if you can get to the Woodstock area of Illinois, I have been to almost every single one of them. Unfortunately, I can't make it this year, but I'll be there in spirit, and I'm really, really gonna miss it. But if you can get there.
Yes.
Do you want anything from Portillo's?
Yes.
You were near him the other day too. Could have brought him.
Yeah, I was in Alexander yesterday.
Oh, you were. What were you doing? Later.
We'll talk after. So Anybody else want to add their insights? I mean, I think everybody knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great
It's
event.
fun.
It's a lot of fun. You
is.
get to learn cool stuff, and if you listen or watch a lot of podcasts, you get to hang out with
Yeah.
in person the people from all the shows and discover that that most of the people are just really cool and laid back, um,
Approachable.
approachable. Except for me, I'm like a horrible jerk.
He is.
Yeah.
But
I jump in too. I mean, it's a favorite weekend of the year for me because not only do you get to see people like we have here, and other friends, but you get to meet new friends,
yes.
and you automatically have that connection with them because you're all there for the same thing, and
Mhm.
that's an unusual thing in today's world. It seems it only happens at certain events, like certain sporting events or concerts, where you just have that immediate connection. Everybody is friends, and everybody has something to share and something to teach, even if they're not up on stage. So yeah, I'm with you guys. Get there.
It's like a family reunion, but in a good way.
Yes.
Yes. Webb asked in the chat, will we be doing In Touch with iOS at Max Talk? Absolutely. We're going to probably have all of us folks. Sad that you're not going to be there, Guy. We wish you. We'll have you in spirit. Yes, we're definitely going to record. I guarantee Marty's going to be doing some podcasting, and who knows, Chuck might do a little bit as well. You never know.
And maybe some Vision Pro stuff.
Vision Pro stuff. And now you've got 3 of us here that have it, and then we get some more. Hopefully, you get some others that have them as well, and that will. Now I can participate comfortably and be happy I get to do it. So, yes. So it's again, it's the Holiday Inn. It's out in Crystal Lake. It's a great conference center. Come check it out. Make sure you use the offer code INTOUCH50. You're going to save $50 off the price, and come join us. We can't wait to see you. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. Follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at In Touch with iOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you are notified when we are live streaming, which is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So great to see Webb Bixby and Cletus and others that were in the chat this week, that they were able to hang out with us while we recorded live. You'll see the live streams.
Real quick. Cletus, thank you so very, very much for the offer. Just wanted to, and that's as far as I'll go with that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And so make sure you come join us when we're doing it live. You'll be able to interact with a lot of our friends, and you can be part of the show as well by asking questions while we're recording. We have the live streams. I leave those up there, as well as being able to listen and watch the past live streams, as well as listen to the past shows. In Touch with iOS magazine is on Flipboard, and many of the topics we discuss are on in that magazine. Go, the link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Cast, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. Just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there on that website. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Blue Sky, Mastodon at DaveG65. And Guy Searle, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. Where can people find you?
I appreciate you having me on. I almost said Jeff. Dave. There. Geez. Instead of providing all the links, I'd like to very, very quickly say that Tim Robertson of
yes,
founder of the MyMac podcast and of course the MyMac website has been ill as of late. And if you could please keep him in your thoughts. And let's hope that he's going to be back leading the charge again very, very soon.
Yeah, thanks for that. Go, Tim. We really miss you, and hopefully you're going to be feeling better. We wanted to get you back on your feet. So, and Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here as always. It's always a pleasure. Where can people find you?
MacVoices.com. That's where you'll find everything that I'm doing. As Dave mentioned earlier, we are doing the Road to Mac Stock series. 2 episodes, I believe, out now. At least 2 more, maybe 3 in the can. So they're going to be coming out over the next few weeks. The idea is to let you know, introduce you to some of the speakers, let you know what they're talking about and why you should attend. So go and check that out.
Yes, please.
On the social medias, I am at Chuck Joyner. Dave, thanks as always. This is always a great Thursday night.
It's a blast. It's a blast. And thank you for being here. Eric Bolton, always great to have you here. And we've made you a regular, so you're here all the time now. We really appreciate it. Where can people find you?
It can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at techhub.social or EA Bolden at Blue Sky. Then Mondays with Marty and Tuesdays with Vision Profiles and Tuesdays with Chuck. and Thursdays here covering all my OS bases.
Yes, I got them. We got all the bases covered for you. Marty Gencius, great to have you as well. And let you go and feed right back into the Vision Profiles. Where can people find you?
Yeah, it's always fun to watch Eric crack himself up.
He gets the hand palm right
He's
away.
the funniest guy he knows.
Yeah, makes for a great show. He's always laughing.
He does.
And it looks like he's being attacked by a COVID virus, whatever that is behind his head. Anyway, Vision Profiles on Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Eric Bolden. We cover things Vision Pro and AR related. You can find me at Gencius, Gencius, at Blue Sky and also at mastodon.social. The other projects that I'm involved in, you can find at thepodtalk.net. And that involves things like Gear Up and Go with my son and Old Mac Gang and all sorts of fun podcasts that I'm involved in. But I love being on with Chuck on Tuesday nights on Mac Voices, and Thursday nights kind of caps off my week. So no matter how the week's been, it's always great to be here with Dave and great folk to have fun with. So thanks.
Jeff.
And Jeff. Speaking of Jeff Gamet, always a pleasure for you to be here. Where can people find you?
Okay, so sorry about my camera shaking so much. Okay, here's the funny thing. I've been out all week and got home this afternoon. My office manager, she has really been missing me a lot. And so she hopped up on the desk just a little while ago so that she could be right here with me. But instead of facing me and looking at me, she's been looking at the preview window for the show on my screen and watching me there. And it's very clear that's what she's been looking at. And everything started shaking because she started pawing me on the screen. Anyhow, all right. So when I'm not getting digitally battered by my office manager, you can find me on the social medias as Jay Gamet, pretty much everywhere. I'm active right now on Mastodon and PixelFed and Blue Sky. And then for shows, Chuck, for whatever reason, lets me join in on Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays. And Dave, thank you. I still don't get why you let me on your show here, but I enjoy being on In Touch with iOS, so thank you. Then on the British Tech Network, the Big Show on Thursdays, the Mac Show on Fridays. Brian Chaffin and I do the Context Machine, and as we record, our latest episode was published. Nice. So that's out, and then Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Excellent. Thank you all for being here. We have had just a great panel here this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it. We'd like, as I say, we will be back next week. We keep doing this weekly and love talking about Apple and talking about all this great tech that we are all very passionate about. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon. All righty. Thank you so much. Well done.
Is that a new mic, Dave?
This is still the SM7B.
Oh, that's right. You did pick one of those up.
2 of them.
You picked up 2 of them.
One for each hand.
Exactly. You're going
See,
to miss
that's
it.
what you need
I've become
with
a
the Vision Pro.
mic obsessed
Keep
person.
your hands free for SM7B microphones.
This is for my handy pull here. There's the MV7.
Mm-hmm.
God.
And then you have the Rode mic. I have that, and then I have the second SM7B. No, I have the dock pops. So here's the purple and here's the blue. There you go.
I'm having a hard time telling the difference between Dave and Guy on screen.
There's the big muff, and then there's the
Excuse me?
muff.
He said, Chuck, that he was showing you his big muff.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, does that have other connotations?
I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, wait, it is that furry thing that you put your hands in to keep them warm.
True.
Yes.
That is very true. And the nice thing about it is it's automatically warm if you have like batteries in it, so you're like really good that way.
That's true. All right, so now I understand Chuck's confusion.
That's why he's muted.
That's why he's muted.
I didn't realize I was I'm kind of glad I was
Well
muted
said, Chuck.
from the comments.
I'm going to say goodnight to the live stream. Bye, live stream.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye,
live
live